Welcome to Chisholm Trail 61. Today we're going to be doing a good side dish. Everybody's heard of the beer battered onion rings. Well, I'm going to show you how I make my buttermilk battered onion rings. And I'm going to show you how to do that coming up right now. Okay, first thing you need whenever you do the onion rings is you're going to need a good size onion. Now, I got a sweet Vidalia here. It's a big onion, a large onion. And what you want to do, you just want to cut these rings just not paper thin, but you don't want them real thick. Just hold it up and cut them down. Try to cut it as straight as possible so you get your rings as whole as possible. Now, I probably won't do a worth flip cutting them today, but typically I can cut them pretty good. You just want to cut. I usually cut it about halfway through, like so. Once I get one side cut, then I turn it around and I cut off the other side because it's easier to hold like that. But one onion to make more onion rings than you think it will. I can make enough to feed plenty for 3 or 4 people out of just one onion. And you know, one onion don't really cost that much. I'm going to try to cut that again. I may not can, but I'm going to try. And try to cut that right down the middle there. Maybe I won't cut my finger off. Try to hold that. I know y'all can't see that good, but I'm going to trying to cut that down the middle there without messing them up. Now what you want to do when you get your onion cut like that, this middle part, you want to take these little bitty pieces, just throw them away. I don't use anything smaller than about that size right there. And just separate your rings like that, and I throw it off the side. Separate your rings out and just drop them in your bowl over there. And any that's broke, I don't use broke ones neither. You can get, like I said, 3 or 4 servings of onion rings out of just one onion. Throw that middle out of there, like I said, because I don't use the middle. Them little bitty pieces I don't use. But you can get plenty of onion rings out of just one onion, like I was saying. You don't need 4 or 5 onions for a thing of onion rings. I fix one onion like this. Me, my wife, my grandson. It's more onion rings than we can eat. You know, so you don't have to cut very many onions. I cut one onion, and that's plenty. You can see I got a bowl full of onion rings there already. And if you wanted to, I mean, I'm not going to use that there. If you wanted to, you could come on down and use like this here, you see. I mean, you can get more than that, but you see, I've got plenty there. See that still on there? But anything small like this here, I just toss away. I don't use that. But anyway, we're going to get our battered stuff together for our batter, and then we'll bring you right back and show you how we're going to put our batter together for them. Okay, what you're going to need for your buttermilk batter is, in the bowl here, I got 1 cup of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And on the saucer here, I have 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper. I'm just going to dump all that in there. And then to that, we're going to add more or less 1 cup of buttermilk. Now, I say more or less because, you know, sometimes you may need all of it, sometimes you may not, depending on how it goes. We're going to just whisk all that together and make us a good batter with it. And it looks like we're going to need at least all of it today. Yeah, we're going to have to get the buttermilk out and pour some more. That ain't going to be good. That's why I say more or less. Some days you need a little bit more, some days you need a little bit less. So start out with a cup, and then if it doesn't, because your flour is where the inconsistency comes in at. Some days your flour is really easy to mix up. Some days it's not. So you want to start with a cup and then just go from there. But just get it mixed up good and mold it together. You want not a really runny batter, but you want a soupy batter like. I'm going to put just a little bit more buttermilk in that. And I'll show you the consistency we're looking for here in just a minute. We get it like we want it. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, it's sort of almost like pancake batter. That's about the consistency that you want. If you're making pancakes, then that's about the consistency that you want. Yeah, you see where about like that, where you can't really pick it up, but it'll just sort of string down. That's about like we want it right there. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to move over here to the stove. We got a grease heating 350 degrees, and we'll be right back, and we're going to be at the stove. Okay, we got it all set to about 350 degrees there, heated. You only need like an inch or two of oil in your thing. Now, what we're going to do, we're just going to dip our onion down in our batter, and we're going to let this excess run off here. And then we're just going to drop it down in our oil there. Just dip it in your batter, pick it up and let the excess run off. And it doesn't take long for these to cook. They cook pretty quick at 350 degrees if you get your oil at that. My oil, like I said, my oil is not but about 1 to 2 inches deep. So I ain't got a whole lot of oil in there. Do these little ones here. A couple of these little ones. That's about as little as I do them right there. You just want to let them cook there. And then I got me a set of tongs here. After a couple of minutes, you want to go back and you just want to sort of flip them over. You want to let them just cook them until they're golden brown. They usually don't take just a couple of minutes to get them golden brown. And yeah, you can flip them more than once. I like to flip them a couple times just to be sure that my batter don't, my batter don't run off real bad. So you just want to pretty well maintain 350 degrees on your batter. Give me a couple of these bigger ones to show y'all next here, so we can but they'll turn golden brown there. And and actually they'll brown up a little bit after you take them out. They'll continue to cook and brown just a little bit after you take them out of grease. You want to get you a rack. You don't want to put them on paper towels. You put your onion rings on paper towels, they'll just get soggy. So you want to get you a rack and put on a cookie sheet or something to that effect, something to hold them there. And so that the grease can drain off of them. Yeah, never lay them on paper towels. You stack them up on paper towels, and paper towels will make them soggy. And then when you go to pick them up, they'll just, they won't be crisp, in other words, what I'm trying to say. You just want to cook them until they start to get a golden brown. And then just take them out and lay them on your paper towel there. I mean, not paper towel, I'm sorry, on your rack to drain. And we're going to get a couple of these other ones in here. I don't really like to stack them neither. I mean, I guess you could stack them, you know, over there, but I don't really like to. Like I said, I just throw mine down there and just mash it down in the batter, and then just pick it up and let it drip some. I'll try to get that where y'all can see it there. Let that excess drip off, and then just drop it down in there. And do another. Now, of course, the bigger pot you got, the more you can do at one time. I don't know, these may overlap each other, but it'll be all right if they do. Flip it over like that. Start cooking, we can get them to separate then. Let them cook for just a minute, we'll separate them there. But man, you talk about good. You ain't need onion rings till you eat these buttermilk onion rings. I know people talk about the beer battered onion rings all the time and that, but and I know all the beer cooks offer the onion rings, but this buttermilk onion rings, they just so much better. You can see now how these have browned up, some just sitting there on their own. See how they browned up on their own? That's why I'm saying you don't want to let them get real brown in your grease, because if you do, they're going to get dark and not really look good after they sit there for a minute. You want to just cook them till they start getting brown, start getting that golden brown tint to them, and then take them out. It don't take long for them to cook. And this little pot here, this little cast iron pot, I can do 2 or 3 at a time depending on how big they are. But like I said, now if I filled it on up with grease, of course I'd have more room, but no need to waste the grease, because you mean, you don't need to cook them all at one time anyway, because you're gonna have to let them set and drain. And those are some good ones. Set this off out here. And then we're gonna do one more round for you, and then I ain't gonna make you sit here and watch me do this whole onion, but I'm gonna do one more round for you here, just to be sure. Like I said, I just sort of shake them a little bit, drip as much of that off as I can, and then just drop it down in there. Let's see, we get you another one here. Pick it up, just sort of let it run just for a second there, and get that excess batter off of it, and then drop it down in there. You see though how they sort of swell up on, that batter swell up around them. It like rises like bread does, and that's what really makes them good. It has to cook long enough that onion has a chance to cook inside of them. And if you get a whole lot of little bitty pieces in your grease, you can take a little strainer, and just strain the grease, just dip that out of them so it doesn't burn your grease. I usually do that 2 or 3 times while I'm trying to cook a batch like this. I'll scoop that little bit of excess out, just take a little strainer thing. So if I can get it out here. Little strainer thing like this right here. Just take that little old deal there, and whenever you take the onion rings out and don't have any in there, just scoop around it and get get them out, get them little pieces out, and they won't burn on you. I'm just gonna flip these over here. We're gonna be eating here in a minute. Who don't like onion rings? Now you can use, I guess you could use pretty much any type of onion that you wanted to, you know, whatever type you like. Personally, I think the sweet Vidalia works the best. It's a big onion anyway. And so that's what I like to use to make my onion rings. I'm just partial to the sweet Vidalia onion. So that's what I would you know, that's what I recommend using, is the sweet Vidalia. I'm just looking to see how they're doing here, to see how much longer we need to let these go. Yeah, they just about ready. Just about ready to come out there. Now I just line them up like that, and then that way they can drain. Believe me, it'll be a whole platter full by the time we're done. And like I said, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do all of these. What I'm going to do now is we're going to finish doing these up, and then once we get them all cooked up, then we'll bring you back and show you the finished product. Hey, and we probably going to even bite into one of them there, or a half a dozen of them. We'll be back then. Okay, we got our onion rings done here, and you can see what a pile of onion rings we got out of just that one onion. That's just one onion there. And we're gonna do us a taste test here. I like to eat ketchup with mine now, so I'm gonna dip mine in ketchup. But yeah. Man, them so crispy on the outside, but soft on the inside. That onion is done to perfection. If you will, give this video a try, this recipe a try. I guarantee you, you eat these buttermilk battered onion rings, you won't go back to the beer battered onion rings. Hey, give it a shot. If you would, give the video a thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all of you do. Appreciate all of you take time out of your day to watch our videos. Buttermilk battered onion rings. We'll see you on the next one.